Hi everyone, Mike Volkin here with Freelancer Masterclass.com. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel because we put out a lot of great content for freelancers. Today's video is on the best advice for growing successful freelance businesses. And this video is for freelancers, consultants, solopreneurs, even agencies. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because freelancers overseas have been sending me emails. And I mean, freelancers from all sorts of countries: Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Russia. The list goes on. And they can't afford my courses. It's the economies of scale. They usually are used to charging anywhere from $8 to $25 an hour, right? So they ask me, what's your best advice for a freelancer? How do I scale? And I feel bad. I want to help them. But at the same time, there's only so much time I have in the day, and I can't give them courses for free because my course includes my time and private sessions. So I decided to make this video to help them. Now, don't think that if you're not someone who charges under $25 an hour, or if you're not from an overseas, maybe you're from the United States or Canada, that you won't get great advice from this video. You're going to gain something from this video. And if you don't apply every one of these steps that I'm giving you in this video, then you're missing out on an opportunity to scale. So let's get into it. The first thing you should do is invest in yourself. Now, I know you've heard that before, but what exactly does that mean? Well, I like the acronym ABP, which stands for Always Be Prospecting. All right. So you should be, and prospecting is free. Investing in yourself doesn't mean you have to spend money. You should be on LinkedIn, you should be on Upwork or any other freelancer platform. You should be networking. And that means that you are prospecting. Even when you're busy, you have to be prospecting, because there is always going to be a dry spell somewhere in your future. Hopefully not, but it's inevitable, right? As a marketer, I'm usually always busy in the fourth quarter because a lot of companies are planning their marketing strategy for the following year. My first quarter is always not as busy as the fourth quarter. So always be prospecting. And then also utilize tools in your trade. For example, in my marketing industry, there's a tool called SEMrush, which is one of 1,000 SEO tools out there, but I subscribe to SEMrush. Now, I do that because I usually have about 5 or 6 hours every month of SEO work to do that I can condense in about 20 to 30 minutes with SEMrush. So I don't promote SEMrush over any other tool. It's just something that I use for certain needs, certain SEO needs. But at any rate, if you have a tool like that can save you time, because as a freelancer, your time is money, that you should invest in it, because that is time that you can be spending getting clients, billing hours, all that good stuff. Okay, so invest in yourself. And then utilize the benefits of being a freelancer. This is a big one, because a lot of freelancers, now that they work for themselves, think that, well, I got to be in front of my computer from 8 to 5. That is not true. One of the best parts of being a freelancer is in the name itself, free. You are free to do what you want, work the hours that you want, provided that your clients know that you might not be in front of your computer from 10 to 2. You might be playing golf or tennis or going on a walk or a hike or whatever you want to do. But take advantage of it. Don't lose sight of the fact that, yes, you work for yourself and you should work hard, and that every minute you're not billing hours could be lost opportunity. But there's a work-life balance there that you have to know. And I had a good friend that I worked with for many years. I wouldn't call him a good friend. He's a friend that I worked with for many years. I was actually he was my client, okay? And he owned a marketing agency. His philosophy is every minute you're not working, you're losing out on money. But I constantly told him, all your employees are working 60-hour work weeks minimum. That's going to burn them out. He had high employee turnover, and they didn't like even working when they were working because he was working them to death and he was micromanaging them to death. But his business was thriving and he was loving it, and he wasn't listening to me. But I'm telling you, happy employees are the best part about running a business. And happy contractors, right? If they like working with you and for you and with your company, then it's easy to make money. Okay, so make sure there's a good work-life balance and utilize the benefits of being a freelancer and having a remote team. Let them do what they want to do, as long as that you create the good communication and milestones, and they know what to expect of you in terms of work output, and vice versa. Then everything will be will be great, and you're going to have long-term employees and contractors working with you. Now, don't rely on freelance platforms. So a lot of freelancers, I ask, well, what are you doing for business and networking? How do you get your prospects? Well, Upwork. I rely on Upwork 100% of the time. Well, that's not going to last you very long. And that's probably the reason why that's probably the reason why freelancing is a part-timer game. Many freelancers, a vast majority of them are part-timers not because they don't want to be full-time, they would love to, but because they don't know how to scale to full-time freelancing. And that is because of laziness. Relying on Upwork to bring you business is laziness. Okay. It's good for about 20 to 30% of your business if you do it right. But you're lazy if you're just relying on the work coming to you. Okay. Make it official. Get an LLC or an incorporation. Really important, very quick story. I worked with a freelancer for a couple of years, and she refused to get an LLC or an Inc. She just said it was too complicated to set up. She didn't know how to do any of that stuff. I told her the easy way to do it, just go to like LegalZoom or something, have them do it for you. She didn't want to pay for it. Bottom line is I told her, you know what, if you ever get sued by a client, you're going to be screwed because all your personal assets are at stake. The person can come after your home, your car, any kind of bank account you have. Worst case scenario, you've got to protect yourself against that. Sure enough, guess what happened? She got sued. And I don't know the outcome of the lawsuit because I lost touch with her. But I'll tell you what, she was freaking out about it. And the lawyer was investigating everything about what kind of insurance she had, asked for the type and make model of her car, any kind of real estate assets she had. I mean, they were digging their teeth into her. And I told her, but I'm telling you, you have to prepare for the worst and get yourself an LLC or an Inc. So if something goes bad, at least you're protected, your personal assets and everything you've worked hard for. Okay. Monitor your reputation. Look at this to the right. Now, this isn't a reputation of a freelancer, but this is a bunch of 1-star reviews from a company. You don't want your company looking like this because the higher paying clients you have, the more they're going to investigate you online. Okay. So I have the bullet points here, ABP and marketing tools, but ignore that. That's just wasn't deleted from something I copied and pasted from the previous slide. But monitor your reputation, okay? You want to make sure that if you do have a bad reputation or a bad review out there, you want to mitigate it as fast as possible. So that means doing whatever you can to get it removed because people don't realize, especially service-based industries, how much one bad review, whether it's true or not, could do for you, all right? So do whatever you can to make it right for that person. And if it means refunding their money, do it, unless it's like a major, major project. Okay. There's so many good things about the internet, but the bad thing is that it's really hard to control your reputation sometimes. So you want to make sure that since there's so many review sites out there that you may go to the end of the earth to make your clients happy, that should be priority number one. Don't oversell yourself, don't overpromise yourself, and don't take on work that you don't think you can do an A+ job on. And my last slide here is know your numbers. Do you know what a CAC is? Do you know what an LTV is? If you don't know what those acronyms mean, you are missing out on a lot of potential revenue. Okay, CAC, customer acquisition cost. LTV, lifetime value of a customer. Let's go back to CAC, your customer acquisition cost. How much does it cost you to acquire a customer? Okay, if you just rely on Upwork, then it might be zero. I don't know, unless you pay a premium up for an Upwork account. So let's just say you pay $10 for a premium Upwork account and you got one client in a month. That means your customer acquisition cost is $10, right? 10 divided by 1 is 10. For example, here's another example. I just spent $6,000 doing a paid ads to bring it to a certain funnel. I created this service, this webinar, that I want to market to a particular segment of people. I spent $6,000 and I got, I think it was 4 customers paying $10,000 each, $9,000 each. So 9 times 4 is $36,000. Okay, I made $36,000 off $6,000 of advertising, plus the cost of the webinar service, plus the cost of the follow-up drip email service, which I had. It was actually free, but they're usually in association with that. So I basically do those now. I divide it, and I don't need to go through the math, but just Google calculate CAC. And every single time you get a customer, you should note on a spreadsheet how much it costs you to get that customer. And then every quarter year, this is my process, every quarter year, you should take those numbers and average them, and then by channel. So Upwork, number of customers, cost to acquire those customers. Paid ads, number of customers, cost to acquire those customers. Then you have a customer acquisition cost. Now, the reason why you want to know this information, let's just take my paid channel, the Google ads I was just telling you about. I spent $6,000 in a month. I got $30,000 or $40,000 worth of business out of it. I know that for every marketing dollar I spend, I'll get 3.6 in return. It's so important to know, because if you don't know that, you're going to have hesitation with doing another marketing. You don't know if that worked or not, if you're at a positive return on your investment. Okay. And if I tell you, if I give you $1 and make me 3.6 in return, I'll give that to you all day long. All right. And LTV. All right. So lifetime value of a customer. How much does a customer cost you, or how much does a customer provide you on average in terms of revenue? Yeah, you might charge a client $1,000, but they might come back 3 months later and give you $5,000 of business. So you got to know how much an average customer is worth to you. That's important too, especially if you do a recurring type of service where you maybe do SEO services for $500 a month. Do they stay with you for on average of 3 months or on an average of 10 months? You have to know that, because then you get to tie that in with your CAC, customer acquisition costs, not to get too complicated. But if you know what a customer is worth to you overall, the lifetime value of a customer, you know how much you can spend on marketing to bring in that customer. You wouldn't spend $1,000 on marketing if your LTV is $500, because that means you're losing $500 for every customer. So that's how important it is to understand your numbers. And then there's other numbers that are just general business numbers, like profit margin, net profit, revenue. Just Google those. You'll know the numbers behind it. But if you don't know those numbers, then you are missing out on a crazy amount of revenue that you could be making. And I'm not talking about this is going to take years to do. This is something that you should be doing every quarter year via a spreadsheet. And then every time you get a customer and every time you collect money, you just got to note it on a spreadsheet. All right. It's not that difficult. So know your numbers. And that is the best advice I can give you to grow a successful freelance business. Good luck.